What's going on, everybody? If you're seeing this page, that means the official Taurean Rain Reloaded merch store is now available. To get access to the store, make sure you go ahead and click the store tab on my YouTube channel. From there, you will be able to see all the merch that is available. We have mugs, shirts, hoodies, joggers, and so much more to come. All original designs made by yours truly, Taurean Rain Reloaded. Now go ahead and get your merch today, and you can feel nothing in style. If y'all were following me in a recent video that I was talking about dealing with the Asian American community, I said I had a video coming up, another video coming up where I guess you can label that as Asian on Asian crime, but you know they ain't going to call it what it is. But this was the story that I'm bringing to you right now that I was referring to, involving two individuals by the name of John Tao and Phong Vang, and how both of them were killed early Saturday morning by another individual whose name was Meng Vang, who then died by suicide. So it was basically a murder-suicide. So the two people that you see in the picture are the two of the deceased. And I'm gonna try to see if I can find a picture of the individual who did it. But when I typed their names in, it only pulled up their two pictures and not the other person. But if I find it, I'll insert it in here as well. So I'm reading this article coming from People, and it was posted September 26, 2023. And the title reads, "Man Killed Best Friends," quote unquote. I'm glad they put that in quotes, because who does that to their best friend? "In an unprovoked attack before death by suicide, hallucinogens were a possible factor." It says two Minnesota men were killed by a man who subsequently died by suicide in an attack where hallucinogenic drugs were likely a factor, authorities say, according to multiple reports. The victims, John Tao and Phong Vang, both 32, were killed early Saturday morning in a double murder-suicide in Roseville, Minnesota by Meng Vang, the Star Tribune reports. Meng Vang lived in the residence where the killings took place, according to KTSP, and he tried to kill a third friend by the name of Nu Zong, who survived a life-threatening wound to the throat, police said. So he tried to take out another person who too was also Asian. AAPI, where are y'all at to discuss this? Zhang told police that Meng Vang attacked him with a knife unprovoked, but he escaped to another room and called for help, according to a police statement the news outlet reports. He then messaged his girlfriend, who then called 911. The Ramsey County Medical Examiner's Office determined that Tao died by sharp force and Phong Vang died by sharp force and a gunshot, ruling both as homicides, according to KTSP, which also reports that the killer died by a self-inflicted gunshot. As of Tuesday, police had not determined a motive, according to the Star Tribune, but Deputy Police Chief Joe Adams said in a statement that hallucinogenic drugs may have also been a contributing factor. Tao played the Southeast Asian game Sepak Takraw for the U.S. national team and is being remembered as one of the kindest, happiest, and most helpful people. Jeremy Merkin, vice chair of the Sepak Takraw of USA, tells People. "He always had a smile and nothing but positivity to share," Merkin said via Messenger through the Facebook page of the team, which also shared a tribute to Tao on Saturday. "As an athlete, he was gifted both physically and mentally and truly selfless on the field of play," says Merkin, adding that Tao helped the U.S. team qualify to compete in an international Sepak Takraw series. He was a car enthusiast who was also into acting, and Merkin remembers that he was so popular that when the team had a celebration for one of their victories, half of the attendees were just Tao's friends. A GoFundMe fundraiser for Phong Vang pays tribute to the kind, humble, and loving young man. "It is devastating that his life was cut too short," reads part of the fundraiser, which has been organized to assist the family with funeral costs. Meng Vang's brother, Cha Vang, issued a statement to KTSP saying the four men who were at the violent scene were best friends and that he doesn't think his brother had any prior intention to commit violence. "However, I believe that there must be some kind of bad substance that the four of them used that night to have caused this horrible tragedy," he said in the statement. "I'm devastated and I'm also deeply sorry for the other three families." So you saw what the brother just did. The brother just got on code. He says that that he doesn't believe that his brother had any prior intention to commit violence. Okay, fair enough. But what he did was he went back and said it must have been something in the drugs that they took. Well, here's the thing. Let's hypothetically say that all four of them may have dibbled and dabbled in these I can't get that word right to save my life, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's say that they tapped in. Why was he the only one that went crazy and literally started murking all of his friends, with the exception of one who he almost did get and then take himself out? If they all were saying, like hypothetically saying that they all used the same thing, I'm just hypothetically saying that they were all using, not saying that they all were, it could have just been this one. Why was he the only one that went crazy and the rest of them were just mellow? They were just fine. If they all used the same, if they all were using from the same thing, not saying that one had their own set, another had their own, another had their own, and he had his own. If they were all using from the same, let's say same bag, same pot, whatever you want to call it, why was he the one who did the killing and then took himself out? Why was he the only one that went crazy? That has my tinfoil do-rag tingling right now. The incident is being investigated by the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and the Roseville Police Department. When contacted on Tuesday, the Bureau directed people to the police department who did not immediately respond to a request for a statement. That is a wild story right there. That is crazy. This man literally took out two people and almost a third in one night. And then he took himself out. That is crazy. And like they say, a dead man tells no tales. However, that with one of them still alive, I'm sure they're going to, when he gets better, they're going to ask him some questions, and they're probably going to test to see what was in those drugs that they were taking to see if it did have any effect on why he acted out. But my suspicion, or where the question I just raised, is still there. They all use the same drugs. Why was he the only one that went crazy with it? That's the only thing. That's the main question I have, because if that was the case, all of them should have acted the same way, assuming they all took the same dosage amount. He might have taken more, but yeah, something just doesn't sit right with me. And then on top of that, I would like to know what type of drug this was. See, if they had, maybe that's something that'll come down the line. If we find out what type of drug it was, then we can look up and research what is the side effects. What can come from you taking something like this? Does it line up with what he did, or does it not? Because a lot of people love to say that drugs make them do certain things, and then when you look at the side effects, and it's like, the drug does not make you do that. You're just using that as a coping mechanism, so you can say, oh, that's why I did it, but really it was something completely different. Or maybe it's this thing where he could have, I don't know, had these thoughts in his head, and then he just needed an outlet to push him over the edge. You just never know, because you never know what's going on in people's minds. But at the end of the day, 3 people are dead. 2 people at the hands of the person who killed them, and he killed himself and almost took out a 4th. So this is going to be very interesting, but my initial question still stands as well. Where is the AAPI to address this? Because at the end of the day, whether it was the drugs or not that made him do what he did, that's still considered Asian on Asian crime. You know, I'm telling y'all, I'm going in on some of these other groups. It's great and all when we going on PC, and you know that's the foundation, but these other groups out here are going to get this work too, because let's be real here, they got the smoke for us, well, I got the smoke for them. If whatever story they don't want to talk about or cover, I'll cover it over here.